Let's make this beautiful sun hat together and you will see how easy it is to create. Let me show you how to do it.
Hi, my name is Julie. Welcome to my channel where we talk everything sewing. In today's video, I'll show you how I made this hat. I had a few scraps from when I made Lily dress. This fabric was gorgeous and I wanted to use it, so I decided to make a hat. It actually turned out way better than I thought it would, and it was easier than I thought it would. This whole hat is made using only straight stitches, so you will be able to make it on any sewing machine that you have. This video is created in partnership with Meddler Threads, manufacturer of high quality threads, and we will be using silk finish cotton 50 thread, which is made from cotton and paired with cotton fabric. It's fantastic. Before we start the tutorial, I want to emphasize on two spots. First of all, you need to cut all the details accurately because we have a lot of circular details, a lot of circles, so we want to make sure that you're cutting everything accurately and everything fits. I'll show you the pattern that I made with the measurements for my 59 centimeter hat circumference, but I will add a link in the description box to my blog post where I show all calculations, and you can make this hat in any size that you want. You can make a matching mommy-daughter hats, you can make a hat for your grandkids, you can make a different size hat for yourself. So basically you can customize this however you wish, and I will add the link with calculations in the description box. And second thing that I want to emphasize is that we will be using boning around the brim of our hat. So boning will add structure and will hold the shape of the hat. So now let's start making our hat. To make the sun hat, you only need 3 pattern details, and the measurements in the details that you need to cut are now on the screen. You need to cut all pattern details from the main fabric. Also cut all fabric details from the lining fabric. If you have enough fabric, you can use same fabric as your main fabric for the brim, but because I'm working with scraps, I will use lining for the brim inside as well. You will need thick interfacing, and you need to cut all pattern details from the interfacing without seam allowance because the interfacing is very thick. You will need sewing thread, and today I'm using Meddler Silk Finish Cotton 50 thread. This thread is made from cotton, making it perfect to sew cotton fabrics. Thanks to mercerization process, this thread is very strong and durable. It's also heat resistant and shrink proof. Meddler Silk Finish Cotton thread has this beautiful subtle silky gloss, making it perfect for decorative seams or top stitching, which we will be doing today. And finally, you will need boning. This is optional, but we will add this to the edge of the brim to prevent it from being floppy. If you have it, you can use it. Start by putting fusible interfacing on the wrong side of all main fabric pattern details. Let's start assemble, and first we will fold this pattern detail and pin sides. So when you pin the edge of this pattern detail, you will sew 1 centimeter from this edge. Also repeat the same with the lining detail. Now that you pressed the seam open, let's turn this detail inside out. Take the top detail and we will pin around this edge 1 centimeter. So this is how the pinned detail looks. I used a lot of pins to keep it securely in place because we are working with very circular seam. And now I'm going to sew 1 centimeter around the edge. So it looks like this, and now let's turn it inside out. So now it looks like this, and you want to repeat the same with the lining piece. If you're enjoying the video so far, I would appreciate if you would hit the like button because it helps the video be discovered by more viewers, and I put a lot of effort into creating good quality videos and I would love for more people to see it. So thank you for your support, and now let's continue making our hat. Now let's take hat brim lining facing right side up, put main fabric right side down so that the right sides of the lining and the main pattern detail are touching, and now we are going to pin around this edge. So we pin the main brim fabric and the lining together all around here, and we will sew 1 centimeter from this edge all around. So now we will sew around the brim 1 centimeter from the edge, and I'm using magnet to help me guide the seam exactly at 1 centimeter. Now that you sew around the brim, let's take scissors and clip in the seam allowance until the seam. This will allow to create the seam curvage once we turn this brim inside out. You want to cut close to seam without damaging it and without touching it, and you want to make cuts about 1 centimeter spaced because we have very circular seam right here. Now that we made cuts all around the brim, let's turn this inside out. This is how our brim looks so far. You want to go to the pressing board and press it so that looking from the top, the inside, the lining is not visible, and you want to press all around the brim. So now we will make space for our boning and we will add it here. So first we need to make a seam around the brim 1.5 centimeters from the edge. So once you're gearing towards the beginning of the seam, make a few stitches but leave the opening of a few centimeters. So now we will take the boning. I added a little bit of tape to the end of the boning to make it not as sharp and to make it go through the funnel a little bit easier. So now what we're going to do, we're going to push the boning to the funnel, and it will be very difficult and it will be very tough, but we will push it 1 centimeter at a time like this. So you catch the boning right here and you work the fabric. You push the boning, unwrap the fabric, push the boning again, and you move all around the edge of your hat. Here you can see that the boning is added to the inside here, and continue until all the edge of the brim. So now that the boning is added to the entire circumference of the hat brim, you have to trim the excess boning and lock the loose edges by closing the seam. So now what we're going to do, we are continuing doing seams around the brim. Each will be spaced 1.5 centimeters. So if you're using magnet, this is really easy to do. Simply move the magnet further each time by 1.5 centimeters like this, and sew around the brim. So once you went around, you move the magnet again by 1.5 centimeters. And then again, continue to sew. And you will continue doing this all the way till you reach this point here. So to sew this hat, I'm using Metler Silk Finish Cotton 50 thread. It has such a beautiful, very subtle gloss, and it's ideal when making top stitching or decorative seams. So right now I'm doing the top stitching and it works very well and it looks so beautiful. So we did top stitching. I left like 3 centimeters space here, maybe 4 centimeters. And now what we're going to do, we are going to take this detail that we made from the main fabric and we are going to pin it right sides together all around this part. So here's how the first pin looks, and then I will continue working my way around the circle. Pinned detail looks like this. So this is the lining of the brim, and this is that part detail, right? So I pinned all around. If you cut everything correctly, then you should have no problems fitting it. So now we're going to sew, and this is going to be very uncomfortable. So when you sew this part right here, here is the seam that we just made, I want you to take the lining and put it inside the hat like this. Now what we're going to do is we are going to fold 1 centimeter of the lining, add it to the seam, and sew using hand stitch. So 1 centimeter is folded. I'm adding to this side, and then I'm just going to attach it. Then I'm going to fold again, add it on the seam, and make 1 more hand stitch. And continue doing this by attaching the lining all around this part, and I will show you how it looks finished. And here is how the attached lining looks. Everything is fully covered and there are no raw seam edges visible from the inside or the outside of the hat. So all you need to do now is give this hat a good nice final press, and I will show you the finished result. So after this step, our hat is finished. You see how easy it is. You can make it from scraps. You can refashion an old garment and make this beautiful hat, and it's so easy. I loved making it. You can make it in literally just a few hours. It's so easy. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more sewing content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!